In just one step, get your hair clean, fully conditioned. No more fuss, just great-looking hair. Wash and go! Shampoo plus conditioner in one.
I'm Dr. Michael Resnick on mammography fears.
This medical news update is brought to you by Anacin, doctor recommended for pain relief.
Women have a tool that could save their lives, but they aren't using it. In fact, according to a new survey, nearly half have never had a mammogram. The major reasons cited were their doctor didn't suggest one, they didn't know they needed it, and the expense. But remember, regular mammograms could save 30% of breast cancer deaths. Now this.
You know how it is with arthritis. Some days there's pain, and some days there's pain. For relief, there's aspirin. And then there's aspirin, Anacin. When compared to regular aspirin, Anacin's aspirin formula has more medicine to relieve minor arthritis pain for hours.
That's not just relief. That's relief.
Anacin, not just relief, relief.
Our profile tonight comes from the Money Page. It's about one businessman's attempt to fix the education system. Fed up with workers who can't read, write, or do simple math, some businessmen have started taking matters into their own hands. 7 years ago, a man shocked a New York City class of 6th graders by guaranteeing them college tuition if they'd just stay in school. Well, compared to a citywide dropout rate of 75%, 90% of the kids in that class finished high school, and 57% went on to college. The businessman's name, Eugene Lang, and his I Have a Dream program is spreading. In Harlem, where dreams can die hard, many people try not to dream at all. But Darrell Galashaw is a dreamer. So's his friend Jamil Quinones. That's what members of Eugene Lang's adopted class call themselves. They both graduated from high school, and while Jamil still hopes to go to college, Darrell already has. Almost 60% of Lang's class is in college, too, and he's convinced that the promise of money was the least of his investment.
I don't think a day goes by where I don't talk to some kid. One of my boys comes and said, my mother's boyfriend threw me out of the house. Where can I live? My father comes around the house and beats my mother and takes the welfare money. Can you help?
From the start, a number of students and parents in the class were skeptical.
What did you think when you heard this guy you'd never seen before saying he paid you to go to college?
My mother, she didn't believe it. She was very skeptical. At that age, really, I didn't care. I was just taking off my suit, getting out of there,
Jamil, what about your folks, your parents? What was their reaction?
Well, they kept on encouraging me to get involved with the program.
They believed it?
No, they believed it from the very beginning.
To many of these parents, college is not a plus, but a minus.
How so?
Because the important thing is to go out and get a job.
Jamil was all set to go to college last month, but at the last minute, he had to stay home. His father had to leave town after being threatened by drug dealers. Lang is helping Jamil find a job so his younger sister can finish high school.
It's 350 over 5 cm cubed.
But Darrell is back at college again this fall, and it hasn't been easy.
It's like two different worlds, and there's a little bit of me in both parts, I went back to city, and I no longer fitted in there because, I'm used to this constant work, the constant pressure of school now. Okay, I knew Lang helped out, I'm thankful for that. He made it possible for me to be here, but it's up to me to stay here, I think the most important aspect of this program is the realization of college for us at a young age gave us other things to think about instead of getting involved with the drugs and stuff like that.
We will have, against a projected dropout in excess of 75%, we have or will have At least 90% get high school diplomas.
Eugene Lang's idea has had incredible success. 150 other businessmen have since set up I Have a Dream programs. They cover 8,000 students in 24 cities nationwide.
As you graduate from high school and you go on to college, we guarantee for you a college education.
And the state of New York took the idea and made it law, guaranteeing a college education to every qualified student.
It is a kind of elaboration of the I Have a Dream program of Gene Lang. We're the first state in the country to do it, but I predict that states all over the nation will be doing it soon.
Whether it's private or public, the time's going to come when every child in this country will, as a matter of basic entitlement, have the opportunity for a college education.
You know, guys, tomorrow we're going to do a spot on a businessman who believes you have to start much sooner than this, that you have to go to prenatal care for young unwed mothers in order for this to make a difference.
Right.
Those things will eliminate an awful lot of problems in the future.
I think they will. That's it for us tonight.
Good night.
Good night.
Travel arrangements furnished by Delta Airlines. From Europe to the Orient, from Mexico to Canada, Delta can fly you worldwide. At Delta, we love to fly, and it shows.
Just give me honest work at honest pay, honest sweat from honest play, and when I'm through, that's when I'll say, I want my clean as real as ivory. It's gotta be 99.44. I want my clean as real as ivory. Nothing less, nothing more.
If you're looking for the real clean you can only get from a pure soap, you want ivory.
It's gotta be pure, that's for sure. I want my clean as real as ivory.
Hello, I'm Darlene McCarthy, and this is an invitation to join me and Jack Hines for the News at 10. We'll bring you up to date on all the local events, and we'll have live reports on all late-breaking stories. You'll get the latest in sports and the first look at tomorrow's weather. So join us for the News at 10, right here on Channel 56, and get to bed a little earlier tonight.
Dinner being late, little things like that, that's all it took.
I thought and hoped he would stop when I was pregnant, but he didn't.
I wasn't going to take another beating. I went to the courthouse. I didn't need a lawyer or money or anything. And I had him ordered out of the house.
I'll tell you, no one's ever going to hit this child's mother again.
Find out about your rights. Call the Battered Women's Shelter in your area.
Good evening, I'm Jack Hines on our News at 10 tonight. 3 weeks to go in the current presidential campaign. Bush and Dukakis trading charges and countercharges today. We'll have a report. Tonight's winning state lottery number 0084. Join us for the News at 10.
This program contains graphic scenes of violence and language which some may find offensive. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hot numbers like these, only 300 calories. Lean pockets, a meal, great taste when you have no time to waste. Get it, Lean Pockets.
This is nightmare we share. To be attacked by a total stranger, assaulted, robbed, raped, murdered, randomly, for nothing we have done. It could happen to any of us. Any place, any time, vulnerable and alone. Predator and prey. A violent crime occurs every 21 seconds in the United States. That makes us the most violent nation in the industrialized world. I'm Louis Gossett, Jr. Tonight, A behind-the-scenes look at stranger-to-stranger violent crime, aggravated assault, armed robbery, rape, and murder. What kind of people commit these crimes? Why do they do it? Each violent criminal was once a child who could have grown up to be a law-abiding member of society. But they didn't. Something went wrong. Horribly wrong. Aggravated assault. An unlawful attack by one person upon another for the purpose of inflicting severe or aggravated bodily injury. An aggravated assault occurs every 38 seconds in the United States. It is the fastest growing violent crime in the nation. More than 1.5 million victims last year. 71% of those arrested for violent crime had committed aggravated assault. The cost to society is staggering. The victims pay in blood, pain, and suffering. George Williams, Jr., age 26. Most recent crime, aggravated assault. Kimberly Minor, age 26, victim of the assault committed by George Williams, Jr. George's mother was only 16 years old when she gave birth to him. He barely knew his father, who died when George was 4. Williams has a professional boxer's license. He showed promise as a fighter until drugs and crime ended his career in the ring. He is a habitual, violent criminal.
I think Mr. Williams is your classical generic inmate who is basically an antisocial personality disorder. This used to be called a psychopathic personality. And he is representative of much of the population in a custody setting such as this at Chino.
I got burglaries, I got robberies, I got a sodomy, I got 2 attempted rape, assault. The only crime I haven't committed is murder.
The hallmark of an antisocial personality is a person who will, without much seeming need, violate the rights of others. And if you add aggression to that, he's willing to destroy health, property, lives.
If I approached a guy with a bat and I said, take off that watch and that gold chain, if he didn't, I would whop him. I say, now give it here. If he didn't, I'd whop him again until he gave it to me. Or until he was unconscious, then I'd take it.
He really doesn't know how to put himself in the place of another person who's being injured by behavior such as his.
His eye can be busted, his ear can be busted, his mouth can be busted. I don't care. He's going to get hurt. So I break him down and continue beating him and choking him and stuff.
Kimberly Minor was 5 months pregnant when attacked by George Williams.
Thank you. Hello. How are you today? That's good. What's your name? Dion. Dion? You want to get a haircut? Yeah. Does your mommy know you want to get a haircut? Okay. What kind of haircut you want to get? I like people. I like giving the attention to people, making them sit there and making them love me. And they have to accept it because they're in my chair. So that's what pretty much I like about it. And I like the art of it.
Kimberly and her mother eagerly anticipate the birth of Kimberly's first child.
You know what? Boys are least expensive. When you get a little boy, you can throw some jeans on him and sneakers and, you know, get his hair cut once a month or so. And hey, you got it. But girls, you got to go the whole bit with ribbons and barrettes and slips and lacy panties and stuff like that. The little girl would be cute, though. Look like jeans. What do you think about? Your mama little fat.
No, I never thought I would be a victim of a violent criminal attack. I always thought I could talk somebody out of not hurting me or be able to, you know, save them, save them from doing wrong. You know, I never dawned on me that I would be hurt.
Kimberly was attacked by George Williams on April 27, 1987, shortly after she left a Mexican takeout restaurant.
I went inside and got a burrito and a soda and came back out.
I see her coming out of Ramona's with the food in her hand. So I run over there and I said, give me the keys to your car.
And I said, give me my keys. I said, for what? And he said, just give me your keys. Do what I say.
And she said, oh, what's wrong with you? I said, shut up, and you stupid whoop-de-whoop.
I said, don't hurt me. I said, I got to go pick up my little sister from school. You don't really want to do this, do you? No. And he's just constantly saying, give me your keys.
You better do what I say and give me what I want. Because I'm serious. I'll hurt you if you don't give it to me.
So I just start hollering for help.
So I hit her with the brick. I hit her right here with the brick.
He had no mercy, you know. And I had told him, I said, you don't want to hurt me. I said, I'm having a baby. And he says, I don't care.
So I punched her. I punched her in the side. Boom.
The pain is still there. And the shock is still there. And the fear of my baby, you know, I have to wait till my baby gets here before I know exactly, you know, if everything's going to be all right. Just wish it didn't have to happen to me.
Only one photograph remains from George's childhood. It raises an immediate question. Why did this smiling 11-year-old become a chronic violent criminal?
He didn't have a father or anything like that that he could, you know, confide in. So, a woman can do certain things, you know, I mean, and then certain points a father should take up, and he didn't have it.
My dad was gone. Can't nobody take that place. Can't nobody take the place of my father.
I came up and asked, okay, I left home when I was around 15 years old. Okay, so I was the kid. I didn't know anything to do, you know, to raise my babies except for go out there and get in the fast lane. I did that, and I did it good.
I've seen my mother use drugs. I've seen her shoot drugs in her veins. I've seen this. I've opened doors when I wasn't supposed to open doors, when I was supposed to knock.
I was selling heroin, selling cocaine. I used to clear about $2,000-3,000 a day, you know. Yes. So, well, I thought that's all it was, you know, I mean, make money, you know. I know it was my responsibility to take care of my children.
He saw us going in and out of jail. Okay, now, we moved from place to place, motel to motel, Holiday Inn, you name it, you know, and we didn't live there, and we would drag them along with us a lot of times. Keep the heat off the house.
I know how to cook the dope up, how to put the cotton in it, how to tie my arm up and shoot it up. Now, I knew how to do this when I was 13 years old.
I was using it, you know, and it didn't cost me anything because I had it.
Whenever he gets under the influence, he thinks about that and he wants revenge, not just from his mother, but from anybody he can get it from. So that's why I feel like he robs and hit people in the head with bricks, snatch purses, whatever he's done in his life. I think it mainly started at home.
He started to run with wrong crowds and things, and when he was about 15, 14. And half the time he'd go off on his own, you know.
I was in that atmosphere. I used to hang with people. That's all they used to do was crimes. That's all we used to do was doing something wrong. I'd go in the store. I'd have money in my pocket. And instead, I would still want to take it. You know, I'd have money, you know, $3-4, you know, 50 cents a quarter. I have money to get what I want, but instead, I would want to take it.
George leaving home as young as he did and things like that, we didn't have too much time to, you know, to really, we're close, but I don't know. We didn't have the time that we really needed, you know. Something just snatched that away, I guess, you know.
And we got a lot of material things, you know, but one thing that was missing was love.
Well, I gave George a lot of toys and money and, you know, things like that. When maybe I should have just took him in my arms, you know, and you know, Because like my daughter, she's real affectionate, you know, and so a lot of times a hug and, a touch can mean more than maybe $1 or $2.
It's like she told me one time, she said, I wish I would have never gave you life. I should have cut your throat when you came out of me. You know, and that's something that stuck in me, that put a ring around my heart.
That's life. I did. And maybe I stepped on mine, you know, too, like my son. Maybe I hurt him. You know, sometimes when you start too fast, too soon, you know, you hurt yourself and then you hurt people around you. You know, I can deal with that. I don't have to, we got to make condolences with it, you know.
After assaulting Kimberly, Williams stole her car, crashed it, and was apprehended near the scene of the crime. He is serving 2 years. We arranged for George to tell Kimberly how he felt about the crime on videotape.
Kimberly, I'm sorry for what I did. And please forgive me. I was wrong in every aspect for what I did to you and your upcoming child. I'm sorry. I mean, I was in the wrong frame of mind, but that is no excuse for doing something to a person such as yourself. You know, it's wrong what I did to you. And I'm not just telling you this because it's Cameron sitting here. I'm telling you this because I'm sincere and I really would like for you to forgive me because I know I was guilty and I was wrong.
I would describe him as a pitiful person. A person who was lonely and desperate and just sad. A ball of hurt, a ball of anger and a ball of hurt. And I do forgive you, and I hope that God forgive you.
I would like to think if the circumstances were different, he was not locked up, would he feel the same? If he had gotten away, set free.
George Williams, Jr. will be released within the next 16 months.
This dresser was the first thing we bought when we got married.
A lot's changed since then.
But one thing stayed the same. I've dusted it with Pledge every week. And now Endust says, watch out for buildup.
After 16 years, come on.
Dusting with Pledge is what keeps it beautiful. Look, Endust evaporates, leaving woods dry and unprotected as before. But a Pledge shine protects beautifully.
With Pledge, dusting can be beautiful.
16 years, and still counting.
Mark and Jane Romano's First Home, made possible by branch manager Jim Gallivan and Shawmut Bank. Marissa Ridante's restaurant and the 6 a.m. shopping, made possible by loan officer Tom Rose and Shawmut Bank. Shawmut, together anything is possible.
To find out why Dunkin' Donuts croissant sandwiches are being heaped with praise, stop in and try one of our 9 made-to-order varieties and be prepared for greatness.
I haven't got time to breathe, let alone wait 2 weeks for new glasses. And her said to me, where do you get your hair done? I said at the mall. She said, why not go to LensCrafters?
LensCrafters crafts your quality glasses in about an hour by putting the whole lab right in store so you can see better and get more done in about an hour.
By the time my hair was done, my beautiful glasses were done.
LensCrafters, custom-crafted eyeglasses in about an hour. 5 locations, including Natick, Route 9, and Dedham, Route 1 North.
Good evening, I'm Jack Hines on our news at 10 tonight. Question 2 on the November ballot asks voters to repeal the prevailing wage law, which requires state and local governments to pay construction workers the prevailing union wage in the area in which they work. We'll have a report on question 2 and talk with both sides of that issue on the news at 10 tonight.
Crimes of Violence will continue in a moment.
When my wife gave me the Remington microscreen shaver, I liked it so much, I bought the company. Now, Ellen, have I got a gift for you. The new Lady Remington Smooth and Silky Hair Removal System. You will revolutionize your shaving habits and enjoy hair-free legs for weeks at a time. Smooth and Silky's hygienic rotating roller quickly removes hair below the skin at root level.
Thanks, Vic. It's perfect.
The new Lady Remington Smooth and Silky Hair Removal System.
Many people need to cut down on salt for better health.
Instead of salt, use great-tasting Mrs. Ash with 14 natural herbs and spices. Use Mrs. Ash on every dish for zest, savory flavor. For better health, instead of salt, try Mrs. Ash.
Claude Akins. Love your Polygrip ads, but I use a powder adhesive for my dentures.
Then buy this, Super Polygrip Powder. One use.
Richard Pryor in the money.
I think I just inherited 30 hour holding power.
In the money.
I think I just inherited $30 million.
Out of his mind.
You know what I mean?
On top of the world.
Anybody want to go to lunch?
John Candy, a man of action. A real nice guy. A spiffy dresser. Together, Richard Pryor and John Candy spend Brewster's millions.
Tuesday night at 8 on WLVI-TV.
Has it been a while since you spoke to your cousin in Keelong? Well, a 10-minute call to Singapore can average just 95 cents a minute. Be a doll and give her a call. AT&T International Long Distance. It's only natural to miss your mother in Holland, but 10-minute call to the Netherlands can average just 71 cents a minute. So don't miss out on the sound of her voice. AT&T International Long Distance.
Rape. Sexual intercourse with a female, forcibly and against her will. What image can convey the horror, the defilement, the violation that is rape? Mannequins, perhaps. Mute, smashed, discarded. A rape is reported every 6 minutes in the United States, but only an estimated 48% of rapes are actually reported. Of those, about half lead to arrests, and only a fraction of those arrested are ever convicted. Eric Annenberg, convicted rapist, currently serving 146 years, the longest sentence for a single offender, single victim rape in the history of California.
When this happens, it happens immediately, just like that. I go from being me, from a normal person, to an animal.
Although it is alleged that Annenberg has attacked other women, he has been convicted of rape only twice. Those attacks were vicious. He beat his victims, raped them, sodomized them, and tortured them. The mother of Annenberg's other victim helped the police track him down and gather evidence that led to his conviction. More than 10 years after the event, the details of Annenberg's brutality are still open wounds in her mind.
It was a very, very brutal attack. He ruptured both of her eardrums. He totally smashed her nose. A broken nose is one thing. Her nose was a smashed nose. One of her cheekbones was broken. She had fractured ribs. She had a spleen that was very, very close to being ruptured. He then took a poker from a pot-bellied stove, such as the one decorators sometimes use, an cast iron pot-bellied stove, and he heated the poker in a kerosene lamp until it was red hot. And then he proceeded to brand her, just like you brand a steer, all the way down the side of her leg. Eric Annenberg should be locked up for the rest of his life. He should never be permitted to move in society again. He cannot handle himself in society. Society cannot protect itself from him.
Annenberg's latest victim is 21 years old. To protect her identity, we will call her Susan. She was so brutalized by Annenberg, she continues to live in fear.
That's been my greatest fear since the day this happened, is that they're going to put me in a mental ward. And lock me up in some straitjacket. Not being able to deal with it. Weakening, letting the shield that I've built, letting it down, and letting it really hit home. That is my greatest fear.
I forced her to go into the stone house, and I forced her to perform numerous sex acts.
Anything that you can imagine that happened. In your worst dreams.
July 10th, 11 p.m., a deserted road in Antelope Valley, California. Susan has finished work at a convenience store and is on her way to meet her boyfriend, who is a caretaker at a Christian youth camp. Suddenly, she notices a car behind her. Driver is Eric Annenberg. He pulls beside Susan, then he swerves and forces her off the road. He shoves her into his car at gunpoint. It tells her he is going to rape her. She feels the unspeakable horror of knowing she can be killed at any moment. Annenberg takes her to an abandoned stone cottage in the mountains. It is his dungeon. He violates her for hours.
It's not sex, it's just rape. It's just violent. It's like taking an arm or something and not getting it back. It's like it's taking part of your insides, your inner feelings, and it takes it away.
I'd have done anything if it could have been myself and not her. She was just starting her life. Nobody needs anything like this, but especially a young person that's just starting out. I wished I could have been the person so she could have never had to have this happen in her life.
It's just something being taken. It's your inside, it's your feelings, it's your pride, it's a little bit of everything that you respect for yourself.
Annenberg, who is married and is father to 4 children, seems incapable of really facing what he has done or the dark side of his own nature.
No, I'm not a violent person. I don't think I ever was a violent person. That is not me. That's not the type of person I am. That's not my feelings. That's not how I work. I don't know.
Why he did. I don't know why he did. What didn't I do? What could I have done? What should I have done? I don't know. I don't know.
A difficult question to answer, since Annenberg's childhood seems to have been idyllic. He wasn't poor. He wasn't trapped in a ghetto. He wasn't neglected. His mother was there. His stepfather. Both there at Christmas. Both there all the time.
At the time that I was growing up, it was pretty much Chevrolet and apple pie, you know.
But this child grew up to be a brutal rapist. What went wrong? Perhaps his childhood was not as idyllic as Annenberg remembers. Our research indicates there were problems. a stepfather who favored his flesh and blood son over his adopted son, Eric. And a lack of discipline in the home.
I spoke to many, many people, dozens of people, that had known him intimately, but in each and every case, the persons I spoke with alluded to the fact that the violence began very young in his life. He was a bully in school. He terrorized the other children. I'm going back to the time he was quite young. He had committed various assaults on various persons. He had put several persons in the hospital. And at no point in time did anyone say, stop, we're going to stop you from doing this.
Finally, our problem would seem to be biological in nature. Annenberg had a severe learning disability and could not adjust to school. He felt frustrated, angry, an outsider.
Eric was called hyperactive. He was on medication. When he was 12 years old, we saw a psychiatrist with Eric. And it wasn't very many times, maybe a half dozen times. And at that point, we were told that he was undergoing tests, and we were told that there was brain damage. And I asked the doctor what that meant, and he said, we don't know. And I said, what can we do about it? And he said, nothing.
At his trial for Susan's rape, the defense presented evidence of brain damage to explain Annenberg's violence. That evidence came from the results of a brain scan which traced Annenberg's brain waves and compared them with those of a control sample of normal individuals. The defense claimed that in patterns of shifting colors like these, one could see the root cause of Annenberg's violence.
To show you the one primary abnormal finding, the normal individual should have a color code that works out to a totally dark color. Eric's color shows bright oranges and blues when it should be all black. This shows decidedly abnormal brain function in the frontal lobes. We find that individuals with his type of brain disease in the frontal temporal lobes invariably engage in violent crimes, many of which are sexually involved also.
In terms of whether Mr. Annenberg's color-enhanced beam EEG is abnormal, and if so, what that abnormality signifies. Any particular one picture in that test does not have any particular significance. As a general psychiatrist, I know that most people who have abnormal EEGs are indistinguishable from the rest of us. Your EEG might be quite aberrant, but you could be functioning in a completely normal manner in every way.
What's triggered an explosion of frenzied violence in a brain which the defense claimed was damaged?
He abused LSD, PCP, cocaine, marijuana, alcohol, amphetamines, and heroin. And he abused these drugs from the age of 13 to the mid-20s. And using these drugs during that developmental stage caused his brain to develop wrong or malfunction.
I was consuming quite a bit of alcohol and speed, probably at least a quart or more of alcohol a day, and $100 or more of speed a day for a good 5-6 days leading up to the crime.
The pleas entered by the defense were not guilty, and not guilty by reason of insanity due to a drug-induced psychosis. But this claim fell on deaf ears because, as the prosecution pointed out, no one forced Annenberg to take drugs and never once did seek help for his habit.
My wife was able to tell when I was about ready to go on one of these binges, and she several times had pleaded with me to go to AA, go to somewhere to get help. Unfortunately, I wouldn't listen to her. I didn't listen to her.
The plea of legal insanity was rejected because, as the prosecution demonstrated, Annenberg's act showed a criminal mind at work. He carried a gun, he used it, and he knew what he was doing throughout the commission of his crime.
This man was in total control of this victim for the 3 hours that he kidnapped her and sexually abused her. He planned the remote location where he was going to take her to. He made her conceal herself while he was driving her around where other people could see him. He held a gun on her to control her. And perhaps most importantly, when he was determined to release this victim after this 3-hour ordeal, he threatened her and her parents repeatedly with death if she were to report this to the authorities. That shows me thinking of a criminal mind, a mind that is conscious and does not want to be caught. I reject his claim, and so did the jury.
Perhaps no better answer to the cause of Annenberg's violence can be found than that provided by Susan.
He was enjoying the part of just being in control. He tried choking me during the time that he was punching me, and he picked me up by my throat and told me that he was in control and that he could kill me if he wanted to.
The key word is control.
And they bring the pistol out, and at their equalizer, and they shove it in a person's face, and they get a rush. You get that rush off of being in control. For the first time maybe in their lives, baby, they're in control. And you're going to do what they want you to do, by God, or they'll blow your brains out. They get a rush from that.
In our overcrowded prisons today, there are many men, chronic, violent criminals, who get a rush off of control. They like to bend others to their will. They find violence the ultimate high. They like to hurt. They are, in fact, so lacking in moral faculties and afflicted by such a sickness of soul that they are incapable of feeling any sense of personal responsibility for their crimes. Is Annenberg such a man?
I certainly hurt the women, but it wasn't something that I thought about. It wasn't something that I was conscious of. It just happens, and it's just boom. Once this happens, it's not me anymore. I am not in control anymore, and it's this other person that I'm watching.
Denial of responsibility leads to a choking off of emotion. Annenberg has so distanced himself from his crime, he seems incapable of feeling grief, remorse, or compassion for Susan, whose interview showed him on videotape.
That's been my greatest fear since the day this happened, is that they're going to put me in a mental ward and lock me up in some straitjacket. Not being able to deal with it. Weakening, letting the shield that I built, letting it down, and letting it really hit home. That is my greatest fear.
Well, I don't like to watch it. I don't like to, I don't even really like to hear it, to tell you the truth. There's not a whole lot of good that my tears or my sorrow can do her right now. This is something that I guess she'll have to deal with herself, and hopefully she'll be able to. The tears, I don't know, maybe they would. I want to, I'm not going to cry on national TV, that's it. Maybe that makes me a hard, callous person, but...
Because of his unwillingness to accept responsibility and his lack of empathy, some psychiatrists would label Annenberg a sociopath. Susan, who has suffered so much, renders a harsher judgment.
He's the type that should have probably been killed when he was a baby. And that would have been a lot better to society. because he's hurt a lot of people.
Eric Annenberg will be eligible for parole in 73 years.
Bye, Mom. Don't be a stranger. She's gonna shine the floor with bright. Oh well, guess I'll watch the soap while it dries.
Surprise, baby. That's Fast Dry Bright. You'll be back on your no-wax floor before you know it.
What's this? But it's too soon. Ooh, pretty. That's me. Look how shiny. And already dry. Wish I was.
Turn on a bright shine with Fast Dry Bright.
A lot of people had a lot of fun getting Ford Ranger to the top. Ford Ranger.
The most exotic, spectacular creatures on Earth live wherever happiness and joy are found. They're carousel animals, guaranteed to make you 5 years old again, clutching your grandfather's hand in glee. Catch them on the newest block of commemorative stamps. Stamps bring the world to life on a stage as big as your imagination. Ride our carousel. It's waiting for you at the post office. Collect U.S. stamps. They're alive.
Crimes of Violence will return after these messages.
Ready?
In a minute, honey.
It's nice to be noticed for what you wear and how you look. And if you wear dentures, it's nice to know Efferdent freshens up dentures and cleans away stains so well. With Efferdent, all they'll notice is you. Hemorrhoids, they hurt, burn, and swell. Over the years, more doctors have recommended Anusol than Preparation H to relieve the hurting. Anusol is the word to remember for relief.
Introducing Lee Sculptured Nails. Long-lasting like luxury salon nails, but affordable because you do them at home.
Lee Sculptured Nails. Affordable. But are they easy?
Like nothing you've ever used before. If you can polish your nails, you can do it. Glue on an extension.
No form.
Brush on the overlay.
Like nail polish.
Smooth shape and polish.
Lee Sculptured Nails are easy.
And long-lasting like salon nails. Plus, they're affordable.
Lee Sculptured Nails.
Who else but Lee?
When you want to get it moving, call on board 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. On action and attention. Call on board 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5.
If you're looking for a job, pick up the Herald today. If you're an employer with a job to fill, just call.
4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5.
This program contains graphic scenes of violence and language which some may find offensive. Viewer discretion is advised. Armed robbery, the taking of anything of value from a person by weapon or violence. Someone is robbed every 58 seconds in the United States. Robbery accounts for 36% of all violent crime. Nearly 2/3 of all those arrested for robbery are under 25 years of age. Many of these youths belong to street gangs, which represent a distinct subculture of violence. With their white, black, Asian, and Latino members, the gangs represent a way of life. Family. David Lopez, 25 years old, serving 7 years for armed robbery. John Dugan, 23. Lopez's victim. John manages a pizza parlor, is married, and has a young daughter. David Lopez is incarcerated in the California Correctional Institution.
Wherever I went, you know what I mean? If something happened, I was really one of the first ones ready to fight. As far as all my crimes going, it was the same thing, you know what I mean? I was the one first to initiate them. I wouldn't say the mastermind, but I was game for just about anything.
John Dugan and David Lopez met in November 1985.
It was about 10 p.m. in a fairly low-volume store, and I was on the phone talking to my wife here, and we basically talk every night, and I was just letting her know how things are going and how her day was. No. All right, well, yeah, it was kind of slow tonight, but, you know, I should be able to get out of here pretty early tonight. I'm not really sure if we have much paperwork or anything to do like that, but, you know, what'd you have for dinner?
Money! Now!
Okay, I'm getting it.
I'm going up front, man. Be cool. Come on. Oh, my God. Give me the money! What are you doing?
I'm getting my keys.
Easy.
I'm getting my keys. Okay, it's open, man. Man, go ahead and go. Leave me alone, man. That's all I got.
That's not all of it, man.
Okay,
come on, let's go back. Where is it? Get it, man.
Okay.
Come on, where is it?
Right here in the cabinet.
Get it.
Okay, I'm getting it.
Come on, hurry up.
Be cool.
Don't hurt me.
That's all you got.
Come on, man. Come on, you get in the back.
What do you want me, man?
Shut up, man. Get on the floor.
Okay.
Now spread off. Come on, slit your throat. No. And you stay here just like this.
I won't go.
10 minutes. You got it?
Yeah, I got it. I won't move.
You feel this?
Yes, I do.
And you feel this?
Yes, I got it.
You move, man.
I won't.
And you're dead.
No, I won't.
You got that?
Yes, I got it.
Stay down. Let's get out of here, man. Come on.
I was petrified. I didn't know what he was going to do to me. He had the knife against me all the time, pushing me, shoving me, and he was talking like he would use it.
If he would have resisted, probably would have got socked up. More or less probably would have got stabbed.
Pamela here, I just married her about 5 months before. And when he was having me go to the back room, I was wondering if I was ever going to see her again. That flashed through my head many times. If he did anything that I did not want to be done, my little daughter, Amanda, wouldn't be here right now.
The way I feel about this crime doesn't matter. It just happened, you know what I mean? As far as remorse, there is none.
David Lopez has a long criminal record, including prior convictions for attempted robbery, kidnapping, and attempted murder. What made David Lopez go wrong?
Painful to think back of the years that I wasn't a good mother. That I think back of all the times that my children needed me and I wasn't there. I was there physically, but not mentally. I was not able to listen to them when they needed me.
I don't know, man. I'm not too close to my mom, you know what I mean? I am and I'm not. I mean, I love her, but when I was small, my mom wasn't there, you know what I mean?
Well, I got married when I was 16. I had 7 children, my first husband. Then I remarried when David was about 3 years old.
My stepfather's been around since I was 2. He's the only father I've ever known. As far as a role model, he wasn't a very good one. He's a drug addict, ex-drug addict. He's criminal, he's been in the jails.
When David was growing up, I didn't have time to listen to any of his problems. I was involved in just getting by.
As I got older, she wasn't into getting in trouble, but she was alcoholic.
I fell into drinking and taking pills and all kinds of things going with that kind of lifestyle. There's times when they're bringing them up that I don't even remember.
She always had food on the table, a place to sleep. As far as being there as a mom for support, never happened.
I think David got into trouble for a lot of reasons. I think because he didn't have parents to set standards, to discipline him, to set examples.
After a certain age, it was just like I ran my own program, did what I wanted regardless.
For David, being on the street and unemployed like so many underclass youth, running his own program meant joining a street gang.
It's like a family. It's like brothers and sisters. There's a love between you, you know what I mean? Camaraderie, whatever you want to call it. But sometimes it's that love's thicker on the families, you know what I mean? I'd do anything for most of my homeboys. They'd probably do the same for me.
Doing anything for fellow gang members means a readiness to commit violence, to defend one's turf against rival gangs, to shoot, to kill. Gang-related violence is rising at an appalling rate.
I find crime exciting because it's like living on the edge, you know what I mean? And then it's like a high. You get all that adrenaline pumping. It's like a high. I mean, sometimes that's more addicting than the money.
Prison has not changed Lopez's attitudes or values. He still lives by code of the gang.
Your side, you would see one thing and say, man, that dude's just a dog. I mean, but to me, yeah, I'm proud of myself. Regardless of what I've done in the past, I'm proud of myself.
Gang membership is a double-edged sword, as David and his mother learned all too well.
The last time I cried was when I had a brother and sister die. They died on the same night. Gang-related shooting.
My son had had some trouble with another neighborhood, and I don't know if they had heard that they were going to be at that party or how it happened, but they came in and they shot my son in the chest with a shotgun. And my daughter just got in the way of the fire, and they found her later on under a truck. She had been shot through the head with a .38 revolver.
There was, as far as my part, my feelings, a lot of anger, a lot of bitterness.
When my daughter and my son got killed, I was drinking a case of beer a day. I was taking pills to wake up and to go to sleep with.
But while this tragedy further embittered and hardened David, it had a profoundly different impact on his mother.
I thank God for my kitty and all my pretty toys.
Despair was replaced by faith. Mary experienced a spiritual awakening. Today she teaches preschoolers in a church setting.
Although it's dark outside now, God is with me yet. The Lord came into my life, and He did put a new song in my heart. And He's given me a whole new beginning. Love your children. Love them as every day might be the last day, because you don't know how long you're going to have them.
I think the pain is from having taken my children for granted. That I was always going to have them. And a lot of the pain is because my sons are not living the way they should be living.
During her frequent visits to David in prison, Mary never fails to express her love and concern.
How are you? How you doing?
All right.
Yeah? David, you know I want the best in your life. I pray that you come to God and to live your life for God. Because that's the only way it's going to work me off. I feel compassion about David's victim. I feel if there was anything I could do to make it up to him, I would. I will definitely pray for him.
Hurt me, man. Don't hurt me. That's all you got.
John Dugan has been scarred. And like most victims, he has unresolved feelings toward his attacker. Feelings he would like to express.
If we were meeting, neutral and this, that, I would be angry, He's got to prove himself to me. I mean, he scarred me for life. I would love to get it out. I would love to ventilate my emotion, yes.
We made it possible for David Lopez and John Dugan to meet in person. Such a confrontation is extremely rare.
I don't know what to say. Just you fucked me up pretty good, though. What do you want to say?
Nothing.
You give a shit what you did to me? You don't really give a shit, do you?
Not that I don't give a shit, man. It's just what I did wasn't to you, man.
Jesus Christ.
I wasn't robbing you, I was robbing a store, man.
Just a tough guy, huh? You can't picture at all what the hell you did to me.
I know what I did to you, man.
It doesn't bother you at all.
Not the way you figure it should bother me.
So you're trying to tell me you robbed the store?
What do you think I should say? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Sorry's a sorry word, man. That ain't gonna change nothing that happened in the past, is it?
I don't want to hear you say you're sorry.
I ain't gonna say it.
You scarred me probably for life. And you're saying, oh, well, too bad, huh? Another guy bites the dust. Well, you're biting the dust now.
You're a joke, man.
I'm a joke?
You're a joke, man. This is for you. Come on, spit it all out, man. This is for you more than it is for me, man.
I'm trying to be cool here. I want to fucking get up and wring your neck. I really do. But what's that gonna prove? Fuck it. It ain't worth it, man. It ain't worth it. You're not worth it.
Are you finished or what?
Man.
Go ahead, man. Last shot.
Fuck off. Said it. Feel better. Said it. I'm done. Get it.
David Lopez will be released from prison later this year.
A man is about to get on a plane. Suddenly, he changes his mind. An hour later, the plane crashes. It's dismissed as chance. Northern Texas, a UFO reported by a dozen people. Although there were no storms, it's dismissed as lightning. Time Life Books announces Mysteries of the Unknown. Important news series that goes deeper into the world of mysterious and unexplained phenomena than ever before. It uncovers the secrets and tells you everything that can be known. Stonehenge. A visitor shapes a wire antenna in an ancient symbol and points it at the stone. A surge of power knocks him unconscious. Was it all in his mind, or much more than that? Experience Mysteries of the Unknown for 10 days free. Then decide if you want to dismiss it.
Call 1-800-272-6800 to examine mystic places for 10 days. Keep it a pay just $12.99 plus $2.98 shipping and handling. Other books will follow. What about every other month? Cancel anytime. Call 1-800-272-6800.
Piedmont Airlines is selling hundreds of beautiful chairs for next to nothing. Like this one, chic, sophisticated, perfect for the big city, a steal. Here's a popular little number, this chair for the beach. Why, you can even rustle up a bargain on this classic Western look, Pilgrim. Tickets are non-refundable and not available on all flights. Other significant restrictions apply. You better hurry. These chairs are going to go. Go.
Get ready for Mazda's 89 lineup. Your Mazda dealer has something for everyone, like the red-hot MX-6, luxurious 929, practical 626, and fun to drive 323. Get set with Mazda trucks, rated #1 in customer satisfaction for 3 years running. Oh, get the feel of an 89 Mazda now.
Get a great deal at your local Eastern New England Mazda dealer today.
We will return to Crimes of Violence in a moment.
Just 4 little calories? Molly McButter. Molly McButter. 100% natural butter flavor sprinkles. Real butter taste. 4 little calories. Go on, indulge.
Molly McButter. Do you wear dentures and smoke like John? You can be a fresh mouth, too. With Mint Fresh Smoker's Polident. Its super strength cleans tough tobacco stains. Its minty mouthwash ingredient freshens up dentures. Try Smoker's Polident, a mouth freshening clean.
The allure of expensive perfumes is irresistible. Now discover the allure of new Ara designer fragrance antiperspirants, similar in scent to some of the world's finest perfumes. Samara, a classic oriental scent. Caprios, an exotic floral. Verona, a spicy oriental. And Marseille, a delicate fresh floral. All with arid protection against wetness and odor. 4 alluring new Ara designer fragrance antiperspirants. They make getting a little closer a little nicer.
Midas brake shoes and pads are guaranteed for as long as you own your car. And that's just part of our $79 brake special. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
It's Captain Midnight, brought to you by Ovaltine.
Remember, to do your best, you've got to be at your best, because someday you may be called upon to pilot a jet plane across the continent, to take the wheel and bring a great ship safely into port, to drive an ambulance to disaster areas. That's why I want all Secret Squadron members to drink Ovaltine every day. Here's an important Secret Squadron message.
Classic Ovaltine's back in chocolate malt and original malt flavors, and still available in rich chocolate.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Ron Harris. Well, we started the day in a fog, then turned out almost decent for a little jog, huh? Let's take a look at what's coming up in our weather. The satellite is showing us a lot of moisture, and we're out ahead of that, going to run for 70 degrees tomorrow, but heavy thunderstorms out in Illinois during today. Golf ball size hail out that away. We'll have some showers heading in our direction, maybe even a run of thunder tomorrow night. More time.
This program contains graphic scenes of violence and language which some may find offensive. Your discretion is advised. Human being by another. 5 years of age. As for the victims, 8 out of 10 murdered men are killed by men, and 9 out of 10 slain women are killed by men. While some of these killings occur as part of a burglary or robbery, a greater percentage occurs after arguments or on impulse. A spontaneous, deadly attack, like the case you're about to see. Ernie Rue, 28, convicted of first-degree murder. Carl Dill, Jr., 20, Rue's half-brother, convicted of second-degree murder. David Abbott, their victim. He was 29 years old when he was killed in 1983.
David and my daughter had a real special relationship. And I've been divorced for years. And basically, David was her father figure. She looked up to him. She respected him. He had a wonderful sense of humor. But he was deep. He loved sincerely. And he was honest with his love. I guess I miss that the most. It's terrible to say you don't appreciate someone until they're not around. and you don't realize what an impact they have. And at least, I can sit here and think, David, you did. You meant a lot. And some of the things that, he said and did, well, I look at my daughter. She'll never forget them. I mean, they were so important to her, important enough that she feels that her uncle was a great person.
Due to the nature of this crime, Carl Dill Jr. was tried as an adult, even though he was only 16 years old. The brothers entered pleas of guilty and are now cellmates in maximum security. Their version of the murder is the only one we have.
Well, it started off to be with a night out in town, with my brother and this girl.
We're at the bar, we're drinking, I'm ordering drinks, as fast as they'll drink them, I'll buy them another one. I had the money, it didn't matter to me then. And then we meet this guy, Abbott. And he seemed like a nice guy, he was drunk. But we were playing pool with that guy for drinks. But then we found out he couldn't afford his drinks, so I bought him drinks anyway. After a while there, I gave the guy some money to give us a ride home, money for gas.
I was in the back seat, fooling around. Wasn't paying much attention to where we were at, what was going on.
So we drive up to a gas station. He gets out, gets the gas, gets back in the car and starts driving. I get the car to pull over.
You got my cash from the gas station. Get out of here.
What?
Hey!
There was a roar, yelling. I took it like as he needed my help for some reason, because this guy had to, was yelling. I just reached up there and wrapped my arm around the guy's throat and held on as tight as I could. I was pulling so hard, and I could just feel his neck popping. His head was coming back, but the rest of his body wasn't.
And then I stabbed the guy. I thought all the way up until the time I turned myself in, I only stabbed him twice. It went so quick.
I remember the blood just spraying out, hitting the windshield and coming back on me and rolling down the back of the seat.
They said I stabbed him about 20-something times, somewhere around there. It's hard to say if I could have done it in a different way. It all went too fast. I was scared. I was drunk. My brother's in the car. Nobody's going to hurt my brother as long as I'm there. Throughout all our lives, out of all the family, he's the only one I've ever looked after. So there's no way that's going to happen. So I did what I thought at the time was necessary.
Why did they feel it was necessary to kill him? I mean, from what the police told me, my brother's blood alcohol content was high. There was no need to. There was no need to kill him.
The truth about what actually happened during the final moments of David's life may never be known. The next day, his body was discovered in the blood-spattered car with multiple knife wounds in his throat, chest, and abdomen. For 5 months, the murder remained a mystery. Then, Rennie Rue was arrested on a completely unrelated charge of drunk driving, and, at that time, consumed with guilt. He voluntarily confessed to the slaying of David Abbott.
Before you go out haunting this Halloween, why not come into our place, if you dare? For all your Halloween haunting needs, theatrical makeup and accessories, consider, if you will, the J&S Smoke Shop, 284 Moody Street in Waltham.
Open 9 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Monday through Saturday, 12 noon to 5 p.m. on Sunday.
Violence will continue in a moment.
In leading nail salons, the French manicure is a most requested fashion by women of means. Who else but Lee could make a French manicure beautiful, easy to apply, and so affordable? Introducing Lee Press-On Nails, the French manicure. Wear them as you do costume jewelry. They're as easy to put on and take off as regular Lee Press-On nails, with 4 extra nails, 24 in all for a perfect fit. In Parisian pink, Central Pay tan. Lee Press-On Nails, the French manicure.
I think the first thing you learn in the kitchen is make it convenient. Put everything where you can get to it and use the right cookware for the job. So for roasting or baking, the cookware I use is a Reynolds oven cooking bag. It's such a convenient way to cook a meal because the meat bastes itself tender and juicy right inside the bag. And there's no messy pan or oven to clean up. Look for Reynolds oven cooking bags, the convenient cookware from the makers of Reynolds Wrap.
It's a disturbing fact of life for millions of American men, baldness. Tonight, high hopes for a hair-raising drug called Rogaine.
I saw a young man who was applying the medication and then go out jogging and have the medication come down his forehead in perspiration. When I saw hair growing out of his forehead, I knew that minoxidil can do something beneficial to hair regrowth when it is properly applied.
I'm Jack Hines. Tune in tonight for part 1 of Hair-Raising Hopes on the news at 10.
What events in the lives of these half-brothers led them to commit a spontaneous, violent murder?
Parents are partially to blame. Not for their children doing what they do. Maybe for creating an environment that would allow them to do something they wouldn't like them to do.
When Ernie was 6 years old, his parents divorced, and Ernie's happy life changed dramatically.
Part of Ernie's background was to run, to avoid responsibilities. He was taught that between 7 and 14. He was taught that by his mother. There was no roots. There was no best friend when he grew up. You could have a best friend, but it could only be for 8 months because you were going to move to a new school.
I was alone, raising them quite a bit by myself, and they more or less had to do for themselves. You know, I'd wake them up, and they would have to get breakfast and take care of each other.
With her, she was with a lot of guys, a lot of them. And when I tried to explain how I felt about it, oh, you don't know nothing, you're just a little kid. That's what she would say. There was no foundation there. Her values were set wrong, so that's what I learned. You know, her thing was get with a guy, you get what he's got, and then if there ain't no more, you move on, and that's how she did it.
Ernie wanted to live with his father, but the court granted custody to his mother.
Ernie expressed his feelings to live with his father, and I told him that if he needed his dad, there was a phone on the wall. He could call his dad at any time.
When I go see Ernie, that time, Ernie did not want me to go. I doubt if that's any different than any other child. Except Ernie wanted to come with me. There's a point where you make a decision and you see what you're doing to the child by seeing him. The decision was, Ernie, you've got to handle it. And I can't see you that often.
Even though he said he wanted to be with us more, I don't think he did, but he didn't. You know, because he had things that he was always involved in things. He used to collect little toy trains and stuff and go around to these places that had the tracks all set up, and he'd go camping and, you know, a lot of stuff you can't do with a little kid. But then again, he still wanted to be the father.
Mabel's second marriage was to Carl Dill. The family environment they created was even more unstable and disruptive.
When they were young, I tried to be the best father I possibly could. I really thought that I was a good father. Today I can see that I wasn't, because I was, I was crazy most of the time. I'd go for 3 or 4 months without drinking, but whenever I drank, I went nuts.
It was like a battlefield, when Mom and Dad were on together, and they got into a fight. I don't know what it was over. And I was only about 5 years old, and, they were knocking the shit out of each other, Mom picked up a telephone, hit Dad in the head, little statues flying across the house, little knickknacks. And all I could do was hide under the bed, And my brother took off and went and got cops, And that was the only time I really remember of any battles between them, other than my mother telling me, "Oh, your dad's a son of a bitch," Fucking alcoholic, he ain't good for nothing, Things like that. And I hated her for that sometimes, because I love my dad, I love her too, but
all I had to do was look at them, and they'd freeze in their tracks, like they were. I thought it was respect at the time, more fear than anything else, because I did have a way of coming down on people strongly. I told them I was going to spank them, I beat them, I didn't spank them. I think had I not been drinking when I was raising my kids, I probably would have done a little bit different job of raising them. Maybe instilled those values that I really feel are sacred today that I didn't then. I would have tried to be more of a close father than I was.
When Carl Jr. was 11, Mabel divorced his father. Working 2 jobs to make ends meet, it became even more difficult for her to control her boy's behavior.
I used to sneak in the middle of the night out to the refrigerator, grab a few beers, take them back to my room.
The drinking with the family on the holidays, everybody did it. The kids were allowed 1 drink with the family. As for him drinking elsewhere, I knew nothing about it.
Then when I got into, like junior high school and things like that, it started, the marijuana, smoking it quite a bit, every other day or so. And then there was, like Black Beauties and things like that the kids at school had, I'd take them,
It hurts to see kids on drugs and doing things like this.
And so, I'd take these drugs, so I wouldn't have any feeling about what I was doing. I didn't care. I'd just go knock the shit out of the guy, and that was it.
I never really saw the violent side of Carl. And that's why it all came to a shock.
As the brothers grew older, they took the drinking and violence they experienced at home to the streets. Carl was a bully in school and was once arrested for armed robbery. Ernie was arrested for assault, pimping, and drunk driving. By their teenage years, both boys had serious drinking problems.
I think the biggest reason for boys riding up in prison was the drugs and the alcohol. Ernie was in a group that did all this, and he introduced his younger brother to it.
My relationship with my mother isn't much. She's been here twice since I've been here. I've been here almost 3 years. She writes once in a while. We just haven't been that close, especially since this happened, because this crime happened. Because she blames me for my little brother being involved.
I wasn't pushed into doing what I did. All I had to do was say no, and that would have been it. I could have got out of the car and left, but I wanted to be there with my brother. And when it happened, I just reacted.
By being in this film, the brothers knew their family would learn the truth. Carl wasn't just a passenger in the car that night. He actively participated in the murder of David Abbott.
That's kind of hard to take. Because Junior's not the type to do things like that. unless he was being pushed into it on drugs. I really don't. If he says he did it, I have to go with him and believe that he did this. But it's really hard to take because he's not that type of a kid.
I might have been, tried to stop him from going out because I knew that Ernie had been drinking that day. But I didn't know that my little baby had been drinking, and I didn't want to accept that my youngest son was that much like I was when I was his age.
Do I feel personally responsible for Ernie murdering somebody? No, I do not. Do I feel embarrassed, hurt, sad? Do I feel crushed? I certainly do. Did I turn myself inside out when he wrote me a letter and for the first time in his life had to face me as a man? And in that letter he did, and say, I took someone's life. It was hard for him to say that as it was for me to read it.
The worst part of it, for me, has been really the agony of seeing those boys go through what they've had to go through. And I know that, there's nothing on earth could replace that guy, but I wish we could. I wish we could just snap it back 5 years ago, and say, okay, let's start from here.
The most horrible thing about my crime, to me, is the fact that I've learned that I could actually kill a man. I never thought I could do that before. And I don't like it.
I'm scared, about doing all this time. I'm only 20 years old. I may have to be in here until I'm 30 or 40. I don't know. And that really scares me because when I get out, what's there going to be to do for an old man, And probably around that time, I'm not going to have too much of a family left. And that's what scares me.
One day, Mabel's sons will be paroled. But Debbie will never see her brother again.
What a waste. They don't realize it wasn't just David that they hurt. It wasn't. I look at all the people and all the things that have come about because of this. They killed my brother. But it's changed my whole family's life. And I feel like I've lost a big part of my life when David died.
Carl Dill, Jr. will be eligible for parole in the year 2000. Ernie Rue will be eligible for parole in the year 2011.
It hurts. Sinus pressure and headache. It really, really hurts. A painkiller alone can't stop it. A nasal decongestant alone can't stop it. Sinutab can stop it. Sinutab combines the painkiller and Tylenol with the decongestant in Sudafed to give you more than either one alone. Sinutab is the #1 sinus medicine for a good reason. It stops the pain. It stops the pain. Sinutab stops the pain.
You can find a suit cut from this luxurious imported wool at an exclusive New York men's store. These domestic wools can be seen at Chicago's best department stores. And you can spot this worsted wool blend at a Beverly Hills boutique. Or if price is a consideration, you can find suits made from all of these fabrics at Anderson Little. Anderson Little. A good suit at a good price.
Pizza Hut has big news for cheese lovers. Right now, get a large Cheese Lovers pizza for only $9.99. It's loaded with a delicious blend of 3 cheeses, mozzarella, tangy cheddar, pounds of Monterey Jack, plus your choice of 2 irresistible toppings. So come in and try a large Cheese Lovers pizza for just $9.99. It's only at Pizza Hut, and only for a limited time.
Pizza Hut, bacon is great.
Crimes of Violence will return after these messages.
Have you ever tried a beer and felt like the taste just missed your mouth? Well, taste again. because times have changed. Here's one big, bold draft that packs a full-tilt taste you can get your hands around. Extra Gold Draft. It's the biggest taste that's happened to beer since they put it in cans.
Your daddy's sailing home today from so far away. You know you've got your daddy's face, his smile. But oh, your dad's been gone a while. It's gonna be a time of joy, darling. Meet your baby boy. We shared your joy, we dried your tears, we felt your light from all these years.
With the softest Kleenex tissue ever.
Kleenex says bless you.
Interracial killings, like the one you're about to see, often make headlines. But the fact is, 88% of white victims are slain by white killers, and 95% of black victims are slain by black killers. Most murder victims know they're killers, but stranger-to-stranger homicide, random killing, is what shocks and terrifies us the most. Clyde Brown, 35, murderer. Serving 2 consecutive sentences of life without parole, plus 44 years. Brown's known victims have included white and Asian women. When Brown was 16, he dropped out of school and pursued a life of crime. He's never held a regular job. He's the father of 7 children, but to him, life is cheap. Toby Israel, victim, fatally stabbed 8 times by Brown in 1980. She was 19 years old, a promising photographer.
Toby. My little Toby. A lot of joy and love and happiness. She was the most adorable little girl. Big brown eyes and black curly hair, and everybody loved her. I loved to pinch her little tush and her little thighs and her cheeks and anything I could get. She was kind of tomboyish, I would suppose, when she was younger. She could outrun her brothers and outplay them. She was about 16. She was still fun and games. Rebellious, though, a little rebellious. She wanted this old blue, silver blue Chevy pickup truck when she got her driver's license. And that's her blue Chevy pickup truck, and she was really happy. She thought she was pretty hot stuff. I loved her.
To kill someone is like taking a balloon, and taking in your hands a balloon blown up and squeezing it and listening to it pop. At the end, there's nothing left. And all the air is gone. The Toby Israel case was a burglary at first, but some type of way it turned into a murder. As I was killing her, it was, I don't know what I felt. It was just action. I don't know. It was, I didn't care. That's about it. I just didn't care about it.
You questioned the reasons why. You're angry. Most of us feel that those kind of things don't happen to a family like ours. And you look for answers. And there aren't a lot of answers.
I killed Toby Israel because I didn't want to leave a witness behind. I didn't want her to identify me as being the portrayer of her house.
Toby was not the only victim. We all were victims. I mean, it's like a mass murder. Everybody, every aunt, every uncle, every friend, every brother, every sister. Everybody suffered. Everybody. It's just like we all were stabbed in the heart.
I found crime very exciting. It was like when I would run, the adrenaline would shoot through my body and it would feel good. Yeah. It was like playing sports, especially when you make the winning basket or the winning run.
I think I'll always cry. Until I die. I'm sure I'll still cry.
Brown murdered another young woman a few weeks after Toby Israel and has committed other violent crimes. He is serving his time in maximum security. He has 5 brothers, 4 of whom are also in jail. What went wrong?
Well, actually, I was 16 years old when I got married. I had Clyde before I married. And I'm now the mother of 11 living children.
My father and my mother, they were never married, so I was born out of wedlock. And my mother, she married Willie Warren, my stepfather. And after a while, he was playing around on her, going out, seeing other women. So one day, woke up and he was gone.
He left us in an apartment with no money, no food. So the only source of food was the boys had to go out and they would take a certain amount of food a day, 1 meal.
Mornings, we get up, clean up the little ones, and I would leave. I would go out and I would make burglary, come back and feed my brothers and sisters.
Yes, I knew they were stealing it, but it was the only source of surviving.
I found that it was easier for me to go out and take from people than to go out and work. And it got so easy to me, it was just, it was like a job.
If you call, eating 1 meal a day, a loaf of bread and a package of lunch meat, this is what we had each day for a long time. Then I'm guilty.
I did have a lot of anger, and I wanted to get back everybody and everything that was alive, that was prospering, that was doing the right things. I was so full of wrong till that was all. I just hated everything. I had no caring for anyone. I just hated. I hated. I saw a man killed, and I said, wow, it looks easy. I said to myself, if I ever be in a position as to where I have to kill someone, it would be easy for me. It was like, well, I'll get back like this, because it was so hard for me and my family at one time, one point in life, till I just stopped caring. I stopped looking at life as it is.
Need may have led Brown to burglary, but bitterness and contempt for life led him to murder and into prison for the rest of his life. But his mother's attitude toward his murders didn't seem to reflect the horror of his crimes.
I don't feel good about his behavior, you know, the crimes he committed. I didn't uphold Clyde when he done wrong, but I did stand by him, you know, when he was in trouble.
Surprised by her composure in the face of murder, we asked her if she knew about the horrible crimes to which her son confessed.
I'm aware of burglary. This is what I know about him taking that. Nothing else that I know about.
Amazingly, Brown had never told his mother the awful truth about his murders. She was unable to attend the court proceedings, so until our interview, she was apparently unaware that he had stabbed 2 women to death.
I never knew about that. Clyde is accused of 2 murders. Didn't know about that.
I really feel connected to that woman, too. How horrible it would be to have a child that did that kind of a crime.
I think I would rather be hungry. I would rather be hungry.
Brown's mother was devastated to learn the truth about her son. But how does he feel about the anguish he has caused? To find out, we showed him excerpts of our interview with Toby Israel's mother.
I don't understand how he could do that. I don't understand how he could take anybody's life. We all make choices in our life. You don't have to choose the life of crime because you're from poverty. That is not a real good excuse. I mean, there are a lot of people who come from poverty, have hard lives, and do not choose that kind of life.
All I can say is I can see the hurt in her. I could,
I don't know, I feel sorry for him. I mean, I'm angry at him for doing that. I mean, that crime was hideous. But I don't know that he even realizes why he did that. I mean, I just don't know what kind of a man he is. Somewhere, life means nothing. Somewhere in his life, he made that, you know, there's no respect for life or for people.
I'm sorry about it, but I know me being sorry never make her feel any better or bring either one of them back.
Well, I think I am connected to him. I'm connected to this man whether I want to be or not because I gave her life and he took it away. And whether we know each other or not, or have met each other or not, she connects us to each other.
She made us to be almost alike. She being the mother, and I being the one that took her daughter away. So, the giver and the taker.
Clyde Brown will die in prison.
Choose your weapon carefully.
This can't be a factory outlet.
It's a factory
But
outlet.
these shoes are actually in style.
It's a Bannister factory outlet.
This can't be a factory outlet.
Oh, it's a factory outlet.
The shoes are easy to find.
It's a Bannister factory outlet.
This can't be a factory outlet.
It's a factory outlet.
But they have my size.
It's a Bannister factory outlet.
Current styles, brand names, major savings. What a factory outlet should be, Bannister is.
Visit Bannister in North Dartmouth, Plymouth, Sagamore, and Shrewsbury.
We will return to Crimes of Violence in a moment.
U.S. News wants to send you a free clock stereo system. Right now, we're in the U.S. News mailroom sending this clock stereo system free to people like you who've responded to a special offer. In a minute, I'll be back to tell you how you can get yours. But first, a word from the president of U.S. News, Fred Drasner.
Molly Ringwald, Michael Jackson, Madonna, why is she hot? Basically, who cares? U.S. News doesn't provide that sort of coverage. What we provide is information that is useful for you and how to manage your life. If you're worried about how to best invest your money, how to provide for your kids' education, how to take care of your health, developing transit medicine, how to get the best vacation, where to vacation with kids, all the practical aspects you need for life management, and we're the right magazine for you. If you want to know what are the new rules about exercise, are you really benefiting yourself by strenuous exercise, we're the right magazine for you. If you want to know what happened to the $1 trillion you just spent on defense and whether it was worth it, we're the right magazine for you. Take it home, drive it around the block, kick the tires, and if you don't like it, send it back to us and we'll give you your money back.
To subscribe, call this toll-free number now and we'll send you this exclusive AM/FM clock stereo free. This sophisticated sound system has twin dynamic range speakers for full, rich sound, plus a programmable LCD quartz alarm clock. Call now and get 31 weekly issues of U.S. News for just 77 cents an issue. You'll save over 60% off the cover price. Pay in 4 easy installments of just $5.99. You can even use your MasterCard or Visa. All this and the clock stereo is yours, free. But hurry, these clock stereos are going fast. So call now, 1-800-572-2400.
Whatever their background might have been, criminals must be held accountable for their crimes. They must be put away where they can no longer harm us. And anyone even thinking about committing a crime should take a lesson from the violent criminals we've met tonight. The lesson is that crime is also self-destructive.
I was wrong. And after I did it, I was hurting myself. I'm not proud of what I'm in here for. You see, I'm not proud of myself at all.
I would say that I'm paying a very heavy price for my crime. Not only have I lost the rest of my life, I've lost my children's life. I've lost my wife, and I think quite a bit about what I did and what happened.
I cry when my mother tells me that she misses me. I cry when it's hard for me to bring the truth out. I cry when I see my children look at me and ask me, "Daddy, when are you coming home?"
The 6 men we've profiled began life as innocent children and wound up as violent criminals. What went wrong? For one, a street gang was his passport to a life of crime. A learning disability and possible brain damage seemed to play an important role for another. 2 were born to mothers who were only 15 or 16. 3 experienced violence in the home. 4 grew up in low-income families. 4 had parents or step-parents who themselves had criminal records. 4 grew up without their natural fathers. 5 had parents who abused drugs or alcohol. 5 grew up with poor male role models. 5 were unemployed when they committed the crimes we profiled. All 6 were high school dropouts. All 6 abused drugs or alcohol or both. All 6 received little, if any, supervision in the home as children. Without question, what these criminals and most criminals have in common is an unstable, problem-plagued childhood.
Well, I think it has to be understood that the family remains, in our society, as in most societies, the main agency through which young people are socialized into becoming compassionate, cooperative human beings. Now, show me someone who is a genuinely violent, aggressive, predatory criminal, and I think I can show you someone who has had a very bad time during childhood in the family.
Of course, some problems in our society are beyond the control of the family. Destructive forces like gangs, drugs, alcohol, unemployment, mental illness, and poverty. These are society's problems, too. Problems that require a major commitment of our communities and our government officials. By cutting the most basic services that can help families in need, as we've been doing in recent years, we contribute to the cycle of violence that is passed on from generation to generation. But many children grow up surrounded by destructive social conditions, and they don't become violent criminals. What makes the difference? Our research suggests that the primary answer is responsible parenting. That means responsible mothers and fathers who spend as much time at home with their kids as they possibly can. Parents who listen to their kids. Parents who teach the difference between right and wrong by their own behavior. Parents who provide supervision and discipline that is consistent and not abusive. Parents who make their kids feel worthwhile and loved. Based on our research, here are some practical, common-sense suggestions to help you keep your children from becoming involved in crime.
I didn't have the parental guidance, I guess, until after I was 14, 15 years old, and then it was kind of too late. I had my own head on my shoulders.
Kids left alone often get into trouble. If you can't be at home, move heaven and earth to arrange for daycare, a relative, or a responsible substitute to be there with your child.
I went out in the street and I learned just about every bad deed that there is to learn.
Know where your kids are. Keep your children away from troublemakers. The only way to do that is by being involved. Make yourself aware of their daily activities.
I ran my own program. I did what I wanted, regardless. There was no discipline.
Set reasonable rules of behavior concerning getting up and going to bed, curfews, homework, and chores. Kids need limits and structure.
Both my parents were easy to get around, soft touches, so to speak. If we were grounded for 2 weeks, it was lucky if we made it through the 1 week.
Check on your kids to make sure they follow through on your rules. Provide agreed-upon rewards and penalties. Never switch rules mid-game.
My mom loves us. But as far as getting that hug or whatever, I don't remember.
Kids need to be held, hugged, and kissed as much as they need food and water. Affection is crucial.
My dad, he'd stopped drinking, and I got real close to him, and that's when I was able to, come out a little bit, and say, hey, this is how I feel. Listen to me, and he'd sit there and listen to him.
Listen to your kids. Encourage them to get their feelings out by talking to you. Pent-up frustration or anger can lead to violent outbursts toward others.
I used to go to one class in the morning to report in and be gone all the time. I was gone so many times that they quit calling home.
If necessary, check with teachers every week to make sure your kids are attending classes and completing their homework.
I was the only one in class who couldn't learn, and so it did make me feel an outsider.
Have your child tested for possible learning disabilities such as dyslexia. Treatment is available. Hyperactivity is another problem for which treatment is available.
My brothers, my sisters were gang members. I just grew up in that. That was what to do, you know what I mean? And from, I guess, the support I didn't get at home, I got through the streets, through my friends, through my own place.
Look for patterns or signs of gang involvement. Graffiti, gang-related symbols or clothing, tattoos. Even if your kids are just copying these things, they could be vulnerable to gang-related violence.
Well, my mother, she always was concerned about where the things came from. But I would lie to her. I would tell her that I had been working on the car, or I had just went over to the supermarket and swept up, and they gave it to me.
If your child repeatedly has unexplained money or possessions, they might be stolen. Confiscate these items until you know where they came from.
You know, I was like the school bully, you know, and me and my buddy used to, you know, have this little group of friends, you know, and if they had a problem, they'd come to us and we'd go take care of it for them.
Constant fighting is a sign of trouble that can't be ignored. Another clear warning is the abuse or torture of animals. If your child is violent, don't try to handle it alone. Get help.
I was using marijuana and alcohol quite a bit until by the time I was in my late teens, it was probably at least an every other day thing, if not a daily occurrence.
Look for signs of substance abuse, emotional withdrawal from the family, lying, sudden mood swings, slipping grades, changes in sleeping patterns, depression, talk of suicide.
Then my mother found out that I was smoking it, and she told me that she'd rather me do it at home than do it in the streets. So, you know, I smoked me a joint, you know, right there. She said, you ain't got to smoke it with your friends. You can smoke a joint with me.
Exposing kids of any age to drug and alcohol abuse is dangerously irresponsible. If you or your mate or your kids are abusing alcohol or drugs, go for help. It's definitely a tough job raising a child. All parents have problems, and we all make mistakes. But the big mistake is not reaching out for help when you need it. Remember, nothing is more important than your family, and no job you'll ever have is more important than the way you raise your kids.